Hey friends, welcome back to TalkBacks, where payback isn't just personal, it's poetic. Some people think they can get away with anything, freeloading off friends, humiliating strangers, or crossing boundaries like they don't exist. But sooner or later, karma arrives, and here, we make sure it arrives loudly. Today's episode is all about the ones who pushed too far, and the people who pushed back even harder. First up, a woman borrows her friend's apartment to get space from her parents, then throws a house party there with strangers. Her friend's response: cold a final and delivered with a suitcase on the sidewalk. Then, a guy bullies a classmate for his weight in front of everyone. 1 year later, that same classmate has the body of a beast and a job title that forces the bully to call him coach. And finally, someone keeps stealing office lunches until the victim turns one special lunchbox into a viral sensation and a very public downfall. Let's get into it. You ever do someone a favor so big, so generous, that you almost feel like a saint? And then they use that kindness to spit in your face? Yeah, that's what happened when I let my old friend Sabrina stay in my apartment. We weren't super close, more like college adjacent. Same dorm building, a few mutual classes, hung out in groups. But we hadn't spoken in years. Then one day she messaged me out of nowhere. Hey, I know this is weird, but my parents are being unbearable. Can I crash with you for a week or two while I figure things out? She said she needed space to breathe. Said she just wanted to work remote and reset. I lived in a small one, bedroom, but had a couch and a soft spot for people trying to escape toxic homes. So I said yes. She showed up with 3 suitcases and a ring light. Red flag? Maybe, but I told myself she's probably a content creator or something who isn't. The first 3 days were fine. Quiet. Polite. She bought groceries, cleaned dishes, worked on her laptop. I thought, hey, maybe I judged too fast. Then came the 4th night. I got off work late and came home to my apartment looking like it was rented out on Airbnb. There were at least 12 people inside. Some in the kitchen mixing drinks. Some in my bathroom. One guy was literally sitting on my bed eating pizza. I stood at the door in total shock. Sabrina came over, grinning like we were long-lost sisters. Oh my god, you're home. Come meet everyone. I didn't even speak. Just stared. After about 15 seconds of dead silence and death stares, she finally registered that I wasn't smiling back. It's just a few people from my old gym and some friends I hadn't seen in forever. We're being chill, promise. Did you ask me if this was okay? I said. I figured you wouldn't mind, you're always so cool about stuff. She said it like I was the unreasonable one. That's when I saw the ashtray. There were cigarettes in it. I don't smoke. My lease says no smoking. And my landlord? The type who will evict over a scratch on the wall. I kicked everyone out. Politely at first. Then less politely when one of her friends muttered, "Damn, who peed in her cereal?" Sabrina didn't apologize. She just pouted. Said she was trying to feel human again. And I thought you'd understand. I didn't yell. Didn't argue. I just said, this isn't working. You need to leave tomorrow. She rolled her eyes and said, fine, but I need a few days to figure out where to go. That's when I switched gears. The next morning, I left for work at 8 a.m. By 8:30, I was back. With boxes. I packed her stuff while she was still in bed. Woke her up and told her she had 1 hour to get dressed. She whined. Cried. Said I was being cruel. I opened the blinds, handed her coffee, and said, you have 30 minutes. She sat on the couch until the timer on my phone buzzed. I handed her the suitcase and opened the front door. Right as her Uber pulled up, I left her stuff on the sidewalk, next to the trash bin. Not in it. I'm not evil. As she stood outside, stunned, I said, this is what space to breathe looks like. Don't waste someone else's air next time. I closed the door. 2 hours later, I got a call. From her mom. Apparently Sabrina told her family I kicked her out for partying too hard. Her mom said we were trying to teach her boundaries and it looks like you finally did. Guess who picked her up? Her parents. Guess who hasn't spoken to me since? Also her parents. And guess who I saw 2 weeks later asking for a roommate on Facebook? Sabrina. with a caption that said, "Looking for a place that respects creative energy and positive vibes." Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is make it very clear your kindness has limits. When you've been overweight for most of your life, you learn to spot two types of people fast: the ones who are uncomfortable with your body, and the ones who use it as a punchline. Liam was the latter. He sat 2 rows behind me in high school English. He wasn't the loudest bully, just the clever one. He never said "you're fat." That would have been too obvious. No, Liam would wait until the class was silent and say things like, "Can someone pass the syllabus around? Or should we get a forklift? Don't worry, there's plenty of room. It's not like we need 2 chairs." Everyone laughed. Even the teacher once. I laughed too. That's how you survive it. But I remembered every word. Fast forward 6 years. I graduated college, burned through 2 years of burnout level work, and finally took a break. For the first time, I joined a gym. No goal in mind. Just to feel better. But then something clicked. I liked it. I got into it. Not the performative gym life, not the influencer vibe, just real training. Free weights, consistency, self-respect. In 2 years, I lost over 90 pounds. In 3, I became a certified personal trainer. And not long after that, I got a job at a local gym with high-end clients. One day, I was running a session when my manager said, "Hey, your next consult is a walk-in. Wants to work on getting back in shape. Name's Liam." I blinked. Couldn't be. Then I turned and saw him. He looked tired. Not bad, just worn out. Softer around the face. Heavy in the midsection. Same smirk. A little less sure of himself. He looked at me, paused, then said, "Hey, wait, did we go to school together?" I smiled. "Yeah, I think we had English together." "Oh, right. Damn, you look different." In a good way. I shook his hand and said, "I'm your trainer for the next 6 weeks. He blinked, then nodded. First session. I didn't mention anything. Second session. He started doing that thing again, subtle jabs. "I'm surprised you remember me. Figured you'd have blocked high school out by now. Crazy how roles reverse, huh?" Third session, I stopped. I looked him in the eye and said, "Liam, you ever think about how jokes can stick with people?" He looked confused. I continued, "You were pretty sharp in high school. You didn't need to be mean." He went quiet. Then said, "Damn, you remember that?" I said, "You remember me, don't you?" He apologized. Not dramatically, not tearfully, but genuinely. I was an insecure little prick. "I'm sorry." We kept working together. He never joked again. And every time he asked a question, he ended it with, "Coach." I don't hate Liam, but I'm glad he saw me like this. Not because I'm hot now or one, but because the next time he thinks about making someone the joke, he'll remember what it felt like to need that person and call them coach. Sometimes the best revenge isn't looking good. It's being needed by someone who made you feel small. Office lunch thieves are like cockroaches. They don't show up when it's crowded. They only strike when no one's looking. And just like roaches, when you finally catch one out in the open, you make sure everyone sees. I work at a mid-sized marketing firm. Nothing fancy. Open floor plan. Decent people. Free coffee. And one shared fridge in the break room, which became a war zone for about 3 months. At first, it was small stuff. A soda goes missing. Half a sandwich. Some yogurt. People joked about it. Then one day, my entire lunch vanished. Not stolen and replaced. Gone. Like it never existed. It was a homemade chicken bowl. Brown rice, veggies, extra grilled protein, the good stuff. I asked around. No one saw anything. Except for Don. Dan's the kind of guy who always has a joke. Always in other people's business. Always in the break room. He said maybe it just walked away. Or maybe the fridge has taste. He laughed alone. I didn't accuse him. But I had a feeling. Next week, it happened again. Then again. I started labeling my food with my name. Didn't matter. So I changed my strategy. One Sunday night, I prepped a special lunch. Same container, same chicken bowl look. Except this one had the spiciest ghost pepper sauce I could legally buy, chopped raw garlic, pickled sardine paste, and a dash of chocolate protein powder, just for confusion. To anyone else, it looked like a normal meal. Smelled okay, slightly weird, but not enough to stop someone from stealing it. Then I added the final touch. I took an old phone and hid it in a tissue box across from the fridge. Motion-activated recording. Plugged in. Hidden in plain sight. Next morning, I went to work, dropped the lunch in the fridge, and waited. At 12:25, I got up to take a call. At 12:31, the phone buzzed. Dawn! Opened the fridge. Grabbed my container. Walked straight to the microwave like he owned the building. He sat down. Opened the lid. Took a big bite. Paused. Took another bite. Then panic. Eyes watering. Sweating. He ran to the water cooler, knocked over someone's mug, tried to hold it together. He looked around like he'd been poisoned. I stepped into the break room and said, "Hey, Don, you okay?" He blinked, still chewing. "Yeah, I said, "That looks like my lunch." He froze. Silence. Then muttered, "I thought it was mine." I said, "Your name is also Sarah." The break room got quiet. Then someone else whispered, "Wait, are you the guy who's been stealing lunches?" Don grabbed his things and left the room. That night, I downloaded the footage. I didn't post it online. I emailed it to HR. And he accidentally, of course, copied our team Slack channel. The next morning, Don didn't come in. Later that week, HR posted a memo. "Please remember to respect shared spaces, including the fridge." Don resigned a week later. But the best part, someone turned the footage into a GIF, then a meme, then a screen printed T-shirt that said, "Don't be a Don. Sometimes revenge is a hot meal. Served spicy, slow, and in front of the entire office." Thanks for spending some time with us here on TalkBacks, where revenge isn't just a fantasy. It's a reminder that power can shift with a single move. If you enjoyed today's stories, hit that like button and drop your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. And hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. New episodes every week, and you won't want to miss what's next. See you soon.